Your hands are still shaking when you untie the apron. Not from fear, from 11 months of swallowing it, finally letting go all at once. Marcus is 3 inches from your face, jabbing a finger at the schedule taped to the wall behind you. You don't get to decide when you take a break. I decide. His voice carries through the thin door, loud enough that the new hire refilling ketchup bottles outside stops moving. You've heard this speech before. Different week, same tone. 11 months at Riverside Grill. And somewhere between the double shifts nobody paid you overtime for, and the way he talks to you like you're something stuck to his shoe, you stop counting the times you told yourself one more paycheck. But today's different. You missed your sister's birthday dinner for a shift. He canceled an hour before you clocked in. Something in you just stops. I quit. Marcus laughs. The kind meant to make you feel small. Where you gonna go? You've got nothing lined up. You've got nothing, period. He's not wrong. You check your account walking toward the bus stop. Streetlights buzzing overhead in the empty lot. $340. $340. That's the whole cushion between you and whatever comes next. You sit on the bench, in no hurry to catch the next one. You think about your parents, how money was never a conversation at your kitchen table. Just a silence everyone understood without discussing. Nobody ever sat you down and explained any of it. You learned to manage on your own, badly, the way most people do. Your phone buzzes. A text from a number you don't recognize. Heard about the job. You good. You stare at it. Wrong number, probably. You almost don't reply. But something about it, the timing, the casual certainty, makes you type back anyway. Who is this? 3 dots appear, then disappear. Then appear again. Someone who's been where you are. Save $3 a day starting tomorrow. Trust me on this one. You read it twice. $3. You have $340 total, no job. Rent due in 11 days, and a stranger's telling you to save $3 like it's supposed to mean something. You almost laugh out loud, alone, at 9:47 p.m., at a bus stop that still smells like fryer oil clinging to your clothes. You type one more question, seriously, who is this, and get nothing back. No dots. No reply. The bus pulls up, doors hissing open. You ride home in silence, the conversation still open on your screen, a stranger's number saved to nothing, staring back at you the whole way like it's waiting for you to figure something out. You wake up the next morning to sunlight instead of an alarm. The first time in 11 months you haven't been jolted awake by one. For a second it feels like relief. Then it hits you. No job means no reason to set an alarm at all. You do math in your head before you've even had coffee. $340. Rent is $650, due in 11 days. It hasn't added up in a long time. You just used to have a paycheck coming to paper over the gap. You open your banking app out of habit, not hope. The number hasn't changed, but you check anyway. The way you check a wound to see if it still hurts. The strange conversation from last night is still sitting there, unanswered on their end. Save $3 a day starting tomorrow. No name attached. No profile photo. Just a phone number and 11 digits of nothing. You almost delete the thread. Not out of anger. It just feels like advice from someone in a different life than yours. Someone who has $3 to spare after everything else is paid. You don't. Not this month. You spend the morning scrolling job listings. A Kroger distribution center off Manchester Road. A call center that doesn't list a wage. A landscaping crew hiring same day. Cash only. You fill out the same information over and over until the words stop meaning anything. Around noon, hunger reminds you that you haven't eaten. You stand in a gas station aisle doing the same math with a bag of chips that you did with rent. $1.75. You put it back on the shelf and grab water instead, telling yourself it's fine. Telling yourself this is temporary. The way you told yourself that 11 months ago too. Your phone buzzes. The unknown number again. You didn't reply, LOL. I'm serious though. It's not about the amount right now. It's about starting before you feel ready. I waited too long once, and it cost me a year I don't talk about much. You read it twice. A year I don't talk about much. Whoever this is, they're not selling anything. There's no link, no app, no seminar. Just a stranger who apparently knows exactly what today feels like. Your thumb hovers over the reply box. Who are you, actually? You type it, then delete it. Some part of you isn't ready for an answer that might not make sense anyway. You go back to filling out applications. But the message stays open in your head the rest of the day, a door left slightly ajar, pulling at your attention even when you're looking somewhere else. The call comes on day 9, 2 days before rent is due. Not the warehouse, not the call center, a small hardware store off Route 9, the kind of place with a bell on the door and a manager named Ray who shakes your hand like he means it. Can you start Thursday? $16 an hour, mostly stock and register. You say yes before he finishes the sentence. Your first shift is nothing dramatic. You learn the aisles, the register, where the extra receipt paper is kept. By the end of the week, your feet ache in a familiar way. And for the first time in 9 days, you sleep without doing math in your head first. Your first paycheck lands on a Friday. $478 after taxes. It's already spoken for before it hits your account. Rent, the electric bill you let slide, a weekly bus pass to get to a job that's 30 minutes each way. By the time you've paid what you owe, you've got $22 left, and you spend $6 of it on eggs and rice at the store you now work the register of. You almost close the banking app right there. Nothing left to save. Not this week. But the unknown number's message is still sitting in your texts, unanswered for over a week now. Save $3 a day starting tomorrow. You think about deleting the whole thread. Instead, sitting on the edge of your bed, you open a new savings account on your phone, mostly because it takes 4 minutes and costs nothing to try. $3. You do the math almost as a joke. $3 a day is $21 a week. Barely the cost of the eggs and rice you just bought. It feels less like a plan and more like something to prove this stranger wrong. Or maybe prove yourself wrong. You're not sure which. You move $3 into the new account. It's such a small number the app barely registers it as worth confirming twice. Nothing changes. No notification, no sense of accomplishment. You put your phone down and go to sleep, half expecting to forget about it by morning. You don't. The next evening, out of habit you didn't know you'd started, your thumb finds the transfer screen again before you even think about it. $3. Then the night after that. Then the one after that. 10 days in, you check the account without really meaning to. $30. It's nothing. Less than a tank of gas you don't even need yet. But it's also the first time in longer than you can remember that a number in your account went up instead of down. Small and stupid as it feels, that's enough to make you open your phone again the next night before you even get into bed. 3 weeks in, $3 a day stops feeling like a decision. It becomes something your thumb just does, the way you lock a door without thinking about it. You don't announce it. Not to Ray, not to your roommate, not to anyone. It's the quietest thing you've ever built. You start noticing things you never used to. The vending machine by the break room, $1.75 for a bag of chips you don't even want most days. The energy drink on your way to open the store, $3.49 for times a week without fail. A streaming subscription, still pulling $8.99 a month for a show you stopped watching back when you still had the old job. None of it felt like anything on its own. Add it up, and it's real money quietly leaving your account the same way your old paycheck used to quietly disappear before you noticed where it went. By week 6, you've bumped it up on your own. Nobody telling you to $5 a day. Something in you shifts to. You stop complaining about opening shifts. You show up 10 minutes early without meaning to. One Tuesday, Ray mentions, almost in passing, that there might be a key holder position opening up in a few months if you're interested. You check the account on a random Thursday before your shift. $210. It doesn't look like much on paper, but it's the first number you've had in years that isn't sitting at zero. The unknown number text again, out of nowhere, like they've been waiting to see if you'd stick with it. How's it going? You still doing the thing? This time you actually reply. Yeah, $210 so far, LOL. Feels stupid saying it out loud. Also, you never told me who you are. A pause. Longer than usual. Then, it's not stupid. It's the only part that ever works. And I will. Just not yet. You're not ready for that answer to make sense. You stare at that line longer than you mean to. Not ready for that answer to make sense. What does that even mean? You're starting to think whoever this is knows more about you than a stranger should. Your roommate's cousin is turning 25, and somehow that means a backyard on Fenwick Street packed with people you half know, a cheap speaker playing the same 6 songs, and a cooler someone keeps restocking with Modelo. Tyler, your roommate, has known you since community college. He's the kind of guy who notices things about you before you've said a word about them. Yo, he says, handing you a beer you didn't ask for. You've been weird lately. Like good weird. What's going on? You shrug, not planning to say anything. But it's the kind of night where things slip out easier than they should, and somewhere between the second beer and someone's cousin asking about splitting a lift later, you mention the account. Casually. Like it's nothing. Tyler laughs, not meanly, but not kindly either. Bro, you're stocking shelves and saving $5 a day. That's not a plan. That's loose change. A couple of people around the cooler chuckle. Someone in fresh Jordan 4s jokes about needing to live a little before you're 30. You laugh too, because what else are you supposed to do? Standing in a backyard with a beer in your hand while 6 weeks of quiet mornings suddenly sound small out loud. You leave a little after 11, walking to the bus stop alone, the party noise fading behind you with every block. It isn't Tyler's voice that stays with you. It's your own, the one that shows up once you're alone, asking what the point of any of this actually is. $5 a day. Meanwhile, the guy in the Jordans probably spent more on his shoes tonight than you've saved in 6 weeks combined. You sit on your bed later, the savings app already open. $245 sitting there. 6 weeks of quiet transfers. And for a second it looks less like progress and more like proof you've been playing yourself a little at a time while everyone else is out actually living. Your thumb moves toward the account settings. Close account is right there, one tap away. You think about the stranger's last message. You're not ready for that answer to make sense. You still don't know who they are. You never got a real answer. Maybe that's the problem. You've been taking advice from someone who won't even tell you their name. You almost text them right then, at 11:40 p.m., demanding an answer. Your thumb hovers over the thread the same way it hovered over the close account button seconds ago. You do neither. You put the phone down, screen dimming on its own in the darkroom, and lie there a while, Tyler's laugh still sitting somewhere in your chest next to the version of you that almost hit the button. You don't feel proud, exactly. You just don't hit it. The next morning, your alarm goes off the same time it always does now. Before you're even fully awake, your thumb finds the transfer screen out of habit, not decision anymore. $5, same as every day, moving into an account that's about to stop being something you build quietly alone, whether you're ready for that or not. You check your balance on a random Tuesday morning before your shift and stop walking for a second in the parking lot. $1,140. Somewhere between the party and now, without a single dramatic moment attached to it, the number crossed into 4 digits. It doesn't change your life, but it proves something you didn't have proof of 11 months ago, that someone with $340 and no plan could build something out of almost nothing. $5 at a time. Ray pulls you aside that same week and offers you the key holder position. More responsibility, a real bump in pay. Not because you asked. Because you've been showing up in a way you didn't realize was being watched. The years compress. After that, in a way they never do while you're living them. 8 months in, past $1,500. Year 2, past $4,000. Somewhere in there, without noticing the exact day, you stop checking the account out of anxiety and start checking it out of curiosity instead. Around year 2, tired of bus schedules that never quite matched your shifts, you buy your first car, used a 5-year-old Civic, paid mostly in cash with a small loan to cover the rest. It's not a milestone you post about. It's just a Tuesday where you stop waiting at a bus stop and start driving yourself to work for the first time in your life. Tyler's cousin has another birthday. Same street, same cooler, different year. Someone mentions your keyholder promotion. Someone else, half joking, asks if you're still doing the savings thing. You say yeah, casually, like any other normal fact about your life now. Nobody laughs this time. Tyler just nods, quieter than the first time. Guess it wasn't loose change after all. That night, your phone rings. Not a text this time. A call from the same unknown number. You almost let it go to voicemail. Then you answer. Hey, the voice says. Familiar in a way that stops you cold. It's Danny. Your cousin Danny. The one you haven't really talked to in almost 2 years. Not since a falling out at a family thing nobody in your family talks about. The one whose old number you deleted after she moved and never resaved. I had almost exactly what you started with, she says, before you can even ask why. Less, actually. I was scared to reach out after everything. So I texted instead from a new number. And I didn't tell you it was me because I didn't think you'd listen if you knew. I just wanted you to start. Before you found a reason not to. The way I didn't. For 2 years I can't get back. You sit in your car in the driveway, engine off, just listening. I'm not special, she says. I just started late. And I didn't want that for you too. 3 years after the night at that bus stop, your car makes a sound in a parking lot you know immediately is expensive. The kind of sound that used to mean a sleepless night doing math you already knew wouldn't work out. You get the estimate the next day. $1,600 for the transmission. You read the number and wait for the old feeling to show up, the tightness in your chest, the calculating what won't get paid this month to cover it. It doesn't come. You pay it from the account without moving anything else around, without missing a single bill, without lying awake that night. Driving home afterward, you realize you didn't feel anything about it at all. Not because you have unlimited money. Because, for the first time, a number that used to break you didn't even register as a crisis. You sit in your driveway for a minute, the way you once sat at a bus stop staring at a $340 balance. Except this time you're not doing math out of fear. You're just sitting there, letting it be quiet. You check the account once more before heading inside. $6,200 in savings. A smaller, separate number in an investment account you opened on a lunch break. Growing on its own now, without you adding to it every time. Not life-changing money. Not a headline number. Just proof, again, that it worked. For the first time since that night outside Riverside Grill, you realize you haven't lost sleep over money in longer than you can remember. Not once. Not over the transmission, not over a bill, not over anything. You called Danny that weekend, something you started doing regularly now. The 2 years of silence slowly filling back in with normal conversation. Before you hang up, she says something that stays with you. You know you're going to do this for someone else eventually. Some stranger, some random number. You won't even plan it. It'll just happen. You laugh it off at the time. You don't think much of it again. Until months later, restocking your own break room shelves, when your hand brushes something stiff at the bottom of a coworker's forgotten bag near the lockers. A phone. Unlocked. A contact open on the screen, mid-message, like someone got interrupted writing it. And for reasons you can't fully explain, you don't put it down right away. You don't know why you keep looking at that screen a second longer than you should. You don't know whose phone it is yet. Not really. Not the way you'll know an hour from now. But something about the unfinished message stops you. You think about a bus stop bench and $340 and a number you never saved. You think about how none of it made sense until it did. And even then, it didn't make sense the way you expected it to. You still don't know exactly when saving $3 a day stopped being hard. There wasn't a single day for that. It just got quieter, the way everything does once you stop fighting it and start just doing it. Somewhere out there tonight, someone's sitting at a bus stop under buzzing streetlights, staring at a number that feels like the end of something. They don't know yet that it isn't. You didn't either. And you're about to find out exactly how far this thing goes when you finally read whose phone you're holding.